number 1. The race number 2, there'll be a heavy favorite, and justifiably so. And the number 5, Diamond Collector, very likely winner. We'll take a look at this horse's debut, where he finished second to Radio Days, who came back to win here. You're trying to beat him. Any thoughts?
No, I mean, trying to beat her is probably the best way to put it. I have a good friend of mine, my buddy Rob, who likes to watch the works both in person and on the internet, and he has been very impressed with Exaltress.
Right, we're talking about Diamond Collector.
Yeah.
Let's talk about.
No, I mean, this horse runs. This is a lights out second place finish here, and Radio Days came back and toyed with that A other than bunch, and I mean, Radio Days, if she continues forward, looks like she's going to be a filly that's going to be reckoned with in the 3-year-old ranks when the calendar turns in a couple of days. So, yeah, I mean, she makes an awful lot of sense, and we talk. I'm going to use it again for 2 in a row. That was a sloppy track, and she's going to get another wet track today, and at least she has the experience over a wet course. She's a very, she's a solid favorite. She deserves to be under even money, and that's where she'll be, unless Exaltress, the filly we both put on top, takes an unforeseen amount of money.
As far as Diamond Collector, she ran a 79 buyer first time out. The winner repeated that buyer. Shockingly, on a dry track. Shockingly, the winner of that race actually handled a dry track just like a wet track. I know.
Again,
you think it's relevant.
No,
I don't.
I do. I think it's relevant that she has experience on a wet track.
Maybe, maybe not. Anyway, that was wet track at Belmont. Maybe the Aqueduct one will be different. She ran a 79 buyer. So even though Exaltress and so Rob's workout reports are good, but not the racing report.
That's not a workout report. The guy watches what he's been doing.
Well, what do you think the people who write workout reports do? I'm just curious.
Again,
because you don't believe in workout reports, but Rob's workout reports. Is Rob's workout reports available?
I believe in Rob's
workout reports available?
To me.
Okay, to you.
They're available to me.
Okay, but you dismiss the notion of people using workout reports, but your friend Rob, he's good.
Correct.
Okay, how's he been before? Because
your
first-time starter info has been pretty awful for the last few years.
Have I mentioned his name?
Well, who knows? It's very hard to know what's really going on behind the scenes with you.
Listen,
there are stories before and after races that are often different.
I'm an open book, my man. Rob's also now profiting off his workout reports.
So what? You think people are lying? They're giving. So the implication is the workout reports.
I didn't say that.
No, the implication is that people are lying. See, I think that's wrong.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Then why did you say that people are profiting off them?
Because the whole purpose of a workout report that is being sold is to make money off.
No, it's to provide information for people. In reality, that's I think it's very unfair to suggest. You and I get paid to do the show.
Correct.
So we're profiting from this.
Absolutely.
Okay, but you think that somehow changes the validity of them?
I feel like if he's...
That's a pretty unfair thing to say.
No, I feel like if you have somebody, and not just me, if you have somebody in your life that's going to reach out to you...
Where did Rob appear from? Because we haven't heard of him for years. We just told me we just started the Rob workout report.
Rob. No.
No, we just started the Rob workout report.
I haven't had the need to mention him.
Oh, so you've been using him, but you haven't mentioned him.
No. One other horse that I did not need Rob to tell me about.
I can't be the only one confused by this mumbo jumbo.
You shouldn't be.
Anyway, let's discuss Rob's workout reports with Exaltress now that Rob has made the scene.
Rob has made the scene, yes.
Okay, let's discuss it.
What do you want to know?
What does he say about it?
The horse is working like training like a gorilla.
Okay. This horse actually worked favorably with Gerrymander back a little ways at Belmont and has worked well. We'll see. So this one, 7 furlongs, the first time starter, doesn't bother you?
You know it does.
I don't know. You haven't brought it up because it is one of your major points of contention.
I was getting ready to.
Oh, I'm sure you were.
Welcome back, Andy.
Well, no,
it's great to see you.
I want to get to the crux of things. You got away with a lot of nonsense while I was gone. It's not going to happen anymore.
Well, you're not my keeper. The 7/8.
Thankfully, I am.
The 7/8. You're not. The 7/8 does bother me. I know Radio Days followed up her performance, and this filly took money. This filly took some money that day.
This is strictly a Rob workout report.
No, I mean
there's more.
I feel like.
Is there a tip?
I want to see Diamond Collector. I know Radio Days did it again. I want to see Diamond Collector do it again, and again. What is she going to be? 3 to 5?
I guess it depends on how much Exaltress gets bet, because there is a story on her, and everybody sees the workout reports, even the people that don't know Rob.
That don't know Rob. Yeah. What are they going to do with Rosebug? Are they going to bet? Is Rosebug going to take any money here?
No. Well, of course she's going to take money in here. I don't like her. We'll take a look at her one dirt race. I mean, I do think that she was badly mishandled after that by insisting she was a turf horse after that. I mean, she lost to Gerrymander, who did finish second in our Frizette and third in the Tempted. She didn't break that sharply and drop the back of the pack. The reality is, though, that her running line looks a lot better than it was, because this was a race that featured a very contentious pace. And the reason the gerrymander was the worst you wanted out of this race was because she was on top of the pace, and she's the one who was finishing at the end, as opposed to the others that weren't involved. All the other horses made significant runs from behind. Rosebud still ran a 66 by her first time out. I'm not sure what the big incentive to center the turf right away. I know it's American Pharoah, but doesn't mean that he can't have horses that are dirt horses. I'm not a big fan of this horse. I find it hard to believe that she's going to beat Diamond Collector. So in my opinion, Diamond Collector will probably win. I put the firster on top. I didn't have a strong opinion. I know they like the one. I know the one's worked fairly well, but Diamond Collector is going to be a handful to beat this race.
I don't disagree with that. I just want to take a little shot against. So we'll see how much money Exaltress is. You may be priced out of actually betting Exaltress if you take as much money as.
Since we have a minute, I'm going to explain why you have very flawed thinking, and you suggest that Alan Jerkins said horse no win first time stars. All due
It was
respect,
Alan Jerkins, it was Sugar McGahee.
Okay, that's fine. They're wrong. Horses do win first time out at 7 furlongs. The game has changed.
Certainly.
Back in the day, by the time that we ran 7 furlong dirt races, there weren't a lot of 2-year-olds that hadn't run. They had run 5 furlongs back in May, into June, stretched to 6 furlongs towards Saratoga. There were months of races that were run. It's very, very rare the 2-year-olds were showing up first time when we ran 7 furlongs.
I don't even think it was just a necessarily a 2-year-old
I'm going to finish.
conversation.
I'm going to finish,
though,
and you can tell me why I'm wrong when I'm
I
done.
don't think it was necessarily a 2-year-old conversation.
Regardless, the reason that it's changed, it is. It's a silly conversation. The reality is there are plenty of horses that have won first time 7 furlongs. And to use it as a barometer because trainers said it 30 years ago, I think it's a disservice to people at home. The whole game has changed. People just don't start horses as early as they used to. They start them so much later that to bring them into 7 furlongs first time out or even a mile first time out isn't the same consideration as it was 25, 20, 30, 40 years ago, because the game has changed so dramatically since then. And I think, I'm going to finish.
Go ahead.
I think that it's a major mistake to use concepts. I think it's a mistake to use concepts from 5 and 10 years ago and believe they have absolute validity, much less from decades ago, which I think is something that you do when you make comments like that.
I don't disagree. I say that all the time. The game has changed tremendously.
I'm sure you do.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, your first day back. They still got to go the 7 without any experience. And if you don't think the experience of running in a horse race is the same as it was in 1885 as it is in 2020.
You've changed the conversation. The experience matters at 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, mile 16, mile and 8. Experience matters. We talk about experience a lot. But the reality is the trajectory of horses' careers as 2-year-olds getting started in the races has changed exponentially over the last decade. So these concepts that people adhered to 20, 30 years ago, they're no longer relevant.
I wouldn't say they're not relevant. They might not be.
I know you're not. I know you live in the
They may not
past.
be as relevant.
They're not. They're certainly not as relevant. I'm sure there are things. There's relevance to things, but the reality is you didn't see first-time starters at 7 furlong races because
you're right.
they had run.
You're
they
right.
just had run. Race number 3 kicks off the pick 6 carryover, $49,302. Not a funny race in here, and we'll start out with Emperor's Cause's race 2 back, and I don't think there's a big argument based on the 81 buyer that day that he'll win if he runs that figure. Now, in fairness to him, last time out, at least he was chasing the pace. The pace was very honest in his last race behind Water's Edge, who was an overwhelming favorite. I don't think he ran badly. I think he ran better in the race we're watching here, but I don't think is much better necessarily as the 12-point buyer discrepancy shows. The problem is it's a one race.
It's a one number. It's a one fig.
But what's wrong with the races 3 and 4 back?
Nothing.
Why can't they win here?
You're
so
right.
he's kind of the horse to beat.
He's kind of the horse to beat. I agree with what you're saying off the one fig. See, the one fig, though, if you take the one fig out, he does not look as dominant as he would.
Well, the 72 and 74 at Gulfstream are good, and last time out he chased the pace. I mean, you picked a horse
My
run
problem
for
with the
Boston.
81 also is that, Troubleshooter came back and was horrible.
Hey, why would you like Run for Boston over him, though?
I'm just hoping that there's a little pace in here.
Well, there's not going to be, but that's.
I
know you live in a fantasy
You know,
land
I
of
also
paces.
I'm not. I know he won his maiden at the mile at Gulfstream,
Okay.
I don't know if this
let's
horse...
go ahead and run. Fine, you don't like the 5. That's fine. You got him second, but you don't like him. What do you like about Run for Boston?
I'm just hoping that it would a little bit more pace.
There isn't going to be any pace.
I think there'll be a little bit more
No,
pace.
there won't be. But
Okay.
you can't possibly look at this field and think there's going to be pace.
Well, with top of the mint, and I would imagine Quick Flash on the stretch out's got to go.
Well, he's the speed, yeah.
I mean, and I don't really trust. I don't trust him. Period. Let alone going a mile.
Okay, but you've got 2 horses coming out of the same race, and one of them finished a neck ahead of the other one and took advantage of a relatively quick pace that fell apart behind the winner, and the other one at least was chasing the pace. You're taking a horse that is
I'm also going to take a horse that's 3 times the price.
as he should be. He's a distinct plotter. I mean, doesn't it? This is a plotter of plotters.
Listen, I did not want to pick this horse, but I don't
You
like.
have to.
I don't really like
Somebody
Emperor's Cause.
make you pick- did Rob make you pick him?
I didn't know what to do with Kodiak Brown, who I thought. I thought Kodiak Brown. I probably should have put Kodiak Brown second because Kodiak Brown, to me, is a little interesting. I'm wondering if Kodiak Brown is going to be helped by the 1 turn.
Why would he be?
Well,
He's got 3 career wins. They're not around 1 turn.
I understand that, but horses like him who kind of settle and make the 1 run, they're more. It's more conducive to the 1 turn.
His win was in a $5,000 non-winners
and
of
that
3
was
life
ultimately the problem. Ultimately the problem was it's all the conditioned races up at Finger Lakes, and it's hard to really endorse a horse like him. But
Okay.
I think he's a little interesting. I think
We saw the
he's
race
a little
extremely
interesting here.
differently.
Yeah, we did.
Top of the Mint took advantage of a track that was very kind to his running style last time, but he did run. I like Quick Flash. I'm going to bet horses claimed from John Kimmel. We saw Rui Rodriguez win with a horse that was claimed from John Kimmel. And I know he's been a money burner, and he lost a race that was effectively a 3-horse field when he had the race won, but he did lose the favorite that day, to be fair. He's the controlling speed. Trevor just set him the lead and hope for the best. I mean, Tony Dutcher does not have good numbers off the claim. He's 0 for 10 with dirt horses the last 5 years. On the other hand, I think it's a different Tony Dutcher in the last year than the Tony Dutcher that we saw the prior
months.
4 or 5 years even. These horses just weren't running for years. They've been running. I'm going to take Quick Flash to try to wire the field. You're going to hope.
What are we at?
91.
2 lunches?
What?
2 against 3?
Oh, God, yeah, sure.
Okay.
So we're at 93 lunches. Okay. The March to 100. I don't think we make 100 by 2022, but it'll happen shortly thereafter. So, what is the point of Wesley Ward entering horses like Alfie Solomon's that are at Turfway?
I don't know. You know, you'll remember this. Talk about how the game changed. Now you can go to DRF or whoever else you use, and you can buy a cut on a horse. Do you remember the days when guys would enter horses just to get a cut on them?
What do you mean?
So let's say he wanted to sell Alfie Solomon's.
Right.
He would enter Alfie Solomon's at Garden State, and the entries would come out, and the horse would make the racing vote, and that's how they would get the cut.
Because you can't buy it like you can buy it online.
Like you can do it now. They would actually enter horses to get a cut.
Yeah. Wesley's a great trainer and somebody I'm friendly with. I like Wesley.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of respect for him. I don't have a respect for him entering horses and constantly scratching them. It's a failure on his part to acknowledge the importance of horse players. It's a failure on his part to really care about horse players. This is a horse.
Well, the problem is he was entered Monday and worked on Monday.
Right.
That's the big issue here is you entered Monday and worked on Monday and he entered.
This horse not only, and he had the waiver, he had all the accoutrements to fool people. When I saw the waiver, I thought he entered for the waiver. He's got to be coming.
Kind of makes sense. Got to be coming.
Right.
Yep.
And he didn't. And this happens, 70% of the time he enters. They're horses that can win races, and they're horses that usually have speed.
He's 2 to 1.
So they're part of. Right, he couldn't have scratched because he didn't like the field he was in.
He's 2 to 1 morning line favorite.
They're also, without them, there's 2 completely different races here. There's a race with him in it and a race without him
Absolutely
in it.
right.
And I understand things happen, and there are vet scratches, and horses get hurt.
The van
it happens with Wesley so much that, and he does this at other tracks.
It's like Crying Wolf.
It's not like us.
Correct.
He does this all over the country. Come on, Wesley, you're better than that. Care a little bit about the horse players.
Can't run 500 horses a year and do. I don't disagree.
It's just not. It's just
the
not.
rider changes the whole
and
thing.
I have great respect for Wesley,
Yep.
but I just think this is crappy. So it changes the race considerably in here. But I have to admit, I'm dying to know what you like about Debo.
So, 2 completely different races. I felt like Debo was going to be the horse that could have worked out some sort of a trip in here behind the other speeds of
Well, he's not slow anyway. What's the
Hoopla and
difference?
Alfie. I'm sorry?
What's the difference? He's not that slow anyway.
No, he's not that slow. I was just hoping that he would benefit from
He's just not very good.
Hoopla and Alfie Solomons being in front of him and just try and be the third horse in the offing. And now he is in all likelihood left doing the quote-unquote dirtier work with Hoopla.
I don't agree with that. He can't run with Hoopla early. I took Hoopla because I completely changed my picks after the scratches. I picked Hoopla because he's the speed, and I think that all Ramos has to do is just try to go to the lead. And I actually thought he ran well last time. I mean, that was a race that really came apart. 12th man made a run from way back in there. They were moving up front, and thought he ran well in there. And I thought with the kid riding, he wouldn't take an apprentice. He wouldn't take a huge amount of money. So I thought he was fairly logical. And here I see David does. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be favored. I don't agree with that.
I wonder if David made his line with that in mind, thinking that the horse was going to, and now he's left as the speed.
It's a valid point. We'll see how much speed Conformist has, but I mean, Demo Doctor to me is the worst to beat in this race. I don't know what's wrong with him, and he's not particularly slow. I thought he could put himself in position, be similar to Debo. And I thought his races, his two back at Laurel, was just good enough to win here. He was running against better horses last time out. I just thought he was the worst to beat.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be favored. I think he will be favored.
Cuts back from the mile to the three-quarters. They've made it their business to run this horse the distance around. He just has 2 sprints on his card. The 6 furlong race back in February.
But he's not that slow.
I know. It's weird that it's almost like Bob Casares has been committed to running this horse some sort of a distance around. Maybe it's just those are the races coming up. I don't know.
I think that was the case.
Yeah.
What's my category who can win here? Problem with him is he's 2 for 22 with 10 seconds. That's a problem to itself. He's also been a short price in a huge amount of those races. Mm-hmm. And as a turnback who doesn't have any speed with the scratch of Alfie Solomon, I think his race becomes...
Up against it, right?
Now, I don't believe he'll be 10-1 in here. He's got figures. I mean, I think he'll be one of the favorites. And obviously with the 2-1 scratching, I can't agree with David that he'll be a bigger price than Conformist. My God, he's got to be a shorter price than Conformist.
He's probably going to be a shorter price than Conformist at any point, right?
Yeah, I respect David. I'll be interested to see how his race is bet. And then again, it was a line that would have been different had Alfie Solomons not run. 4 more to go. Late pick 4 after a quick break.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
We're back. Big A, Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling, December 30th.
Amazing,
I
right?
saw a funny tweet. Now I'm trying to think what it was. Where somebody was saying that time flies while having fun.
We're not having fun.
2021 proved that, that time flies when you're
been
not
all
having
over social
fun.
media.
It's the cleverest lines are often the most simplistic lines, right? It's funny. I don't know. I had fun. You had fun.
I had a great 2021.
Yeah,
I'm not going to complain about
you
2021.
You got to make the most of a situation, regardless of what it is. You're only going around once. Race number 5. Why do you like Inevitable Connection?
I'm just hoping that Inevitable Connection gets in front of these and just keeps on going. I didn't have any kind of real grasp on the first. There's no Rob workout reports on these firsters.
No Rob workouts.
No workout reports on these firsters. I didn't see anything with the firsters that really wet my whistle. I mean, you took a shot against Urban Forest. I mean, am I really supposed to be afraid of Urban Forest? And
yes, Urban Forest is considerably better. Inevitable Connection was atrocious last time.
Yeah, but it was off the August layoff, and I'm hoping that the race off he kind of ran like a horse. I hate to say this about my man Stevie K. He kind of just ran like a short horse off the layoff.
He ran 6 Beyer points faster in his debut, so that'll debunk that theory.
Hold on a second. Just because he ran better in his debut doesn't mean he couldn't have been short, Andy.
Anthony, I'm short. He wasn't short. He's not very good. No, you and I completely and totally disagree about all. What?
You think a horse is hold on a second.
What? Let me ask you.
And Steve's a good friend of mine. You think a horse's level of fitness?
I don't care if you hate Steve, love him. You guys have been friends. You were in school. What did this horse do that you can say makes you think he was short?
He got tired.
Because he got outrun. You know why he didn't get tired? A horse ran faster than he did. What? It's gibberish. It's made up nonsense.
How is it made up nonsense?
Because it's based on nothing.
I'd like to ask Steve.
Oh, yeah, let's ask Steve, because trainers always give. He got
I'd like to know if he thought he was a little short last time. This horse just stopped.
He ran 6 Beyer points better than. One of the reasons that most people believe in speed figures is they get away from this eye test crap.
No, talking about an eye test.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
First of all, it was 4 months later.
Evaluate a horse. Yes, it was 3 months
3
later.
months later.
It was 3 months later, and he improved exactly the amount of Beyer points that horses usually improve 2-year-olds. About 1.5 to 2 points a month. He went up 6 points.
So you think there's no chance that this horse was short last time?
No chance. I don't even know what short means. I think he ran his race. He just wasn't good enough.
Okay.
You've got firsters in this. I think he's just bad.
Okay.
I think he belongs in a maiden 40, personally.
Okay. Maybe you're right.
I hope
Listen,
First Connections I'm wrong. He's a connect that costs $20,000.
They ran him in the restricted race, and then they came back in the open maiden race off the 3 months. Maybe you're right.
Yeah, I didn't. Okay, I just didn't see him at all. But hey, look, it's fine. There are plenty of horses that win that I don't like. Urban Forest, this is another one. What the rush to run on turf? I guess, to be fair, he's got a turf pedigree. I thought this horse ran fine first time out. What was wrong with his first effort?
Nothing. Nothing.
He kind of broke a step slow.
Second race kind of bothers you, though, right?
Well,
because it's not like he's.
I don't think he's a router, and he was 3 wide against a gold rail that day. So, I thought he had a reasonable excuse second time out, and I think he's a sprinter. I think the mistake they made was going long in the dirt. Now, I don't think it was a mistake going to the turf. He ran fine. Not that good. I just think he's way the horse to beat in here. Do you want to take? I'll take 4 over 2.
I picked the horse second, and if the other horse stopped, maybe the other horse is short again. Who knows?
He's short on ability, is what he is. He's short on ability.
I'm going to tell you what my problem. And you could be right about the route thing. He ran. I know he was again. You just mentioned that he was against the track. Man, he ran so bad that second time on the dirt.
He was wide against the good rail. Okay, I understand we look at races differently, but I don't know. I'm going to give him an excuse, and who says he wants to go that far? Maybe he's just a sprinter.
Maybe he's just a sprinter. Listen, the 2 turf races were both going 3/4, so maybe that kind of buys into your theory.
Listen, Dave's got the 2 and 4 by the same price in the line, so clearly he thinks the public is going to feel similarly to you. I just don't agree. I just don't like the 2.
Those turf races kind of dirty to form up, right? They're good races, but you have to ask yourself, why is this horse run on turf as the last 2 starts? And why is he not in Florida to continue on the turf?
Horse is a turf pedigree. Why go to Florida? The purses are twice.
If you think he's a turf horse, of course you're going to leave.
I'd leave everybody here.
I agree. Well, obviously,
I understand that.
Obviously, the barn agrees with you.
Trouble figuring out what surfaces horses like.
Obviously, the barn agrees with you. My point is not to leave horses here. I'm saying if you.
Of course, Bill Ma doesn't care about purses. He's running a $4.1 million horse at Tampa in a maiden race on Friday. That's quite a maiden race at Tampa on Friday. There's a $4.1 million purchase for Godolphin running against another first-time star as a half to authentic. So what about the first-time starters here? I don't get Rob's workout report.
Yeah, I got nothing for you, man. Sorry.
But I thought that Our Shot was a little interesting. John Terranova can be dangerous with firsters. So after 3 foals, didn't do much running, but the dam herself was pretty good. She ran Beyers in the 80s and 90s. So I thought this horse could be dangerous. I thought Cathedral Beach is dangerous. Once again, the foals weren't that good. It's more turf in the second family, but left this horse in New York, and I thought that Cathedral Beach was kind of an interesting horse. So I'm going to use the 2 first-time stars, the 3 and 7, and the best one that ran. And let me just say something else about setting to Florida to run the turf. What track are they going to run on the turf in Florida?
My man, I'm just saying if you think the horse...
Because let me just finish. I don't know if you've been paying much attention, but they run a lot of turf down at Gulfstream.
I know.
So the reality is, and I think it's an actually interesting conversation. I'm wondering if a lot of trainers are thinking, if you're on the fence and you're thinking dirt, turf, why are you going to send him down? God only knows what he's going to get into a turf race down in Florida because they're just not running them. So, and when they run a turf maiden race, they may get 70 entered
Right.
in there for one,
Exclusions.
and they may split it. So I think
They'll probably be able to split it 6 times.
if you don't feel like shipping this guy over to Tampa, so I think I'm not
Shipping
I'm not
$4.1 million.
Nick Tamero pointed out, it's sort of right. There's just did you look at Saturday's car to Gulfstream? And I'm
did.
not saying this to be critical. Think about this.
I did.
There are give me how many races?
No,
how many races?
I took a very.
There's 4 dirt races. There's 2 turf races and 5 synthetic races.
That was the one. I didn't remember if it was 4 or 5, but I knew it was.
That's a sea change. There was always a split maiden 2 to 3-year-old turf race on a Saturday at Gulfstream.
That was New Year's Day was the Verrazano. There were 2 of them.
Pretty much.
Verrazano broke his maiden that day. There was another.
Broke his maiden in the dirt, I think.
Oh, you're talking about on the turf, yeah.
I'm saying turf.
But there are more synth races
Than
dirt or turf.
They had that one day where they ran 7, 8 races.
7 of them.
Everyone, they ran 10 races, 7 synth, 2 dirt, and 1 turf. So I think that's going to affect how people ship. So I think that has to, has to almost get in your head.
Has to resonate.
There's a big difference. Race number 6. I loved one horse today. It was Rocco Strong. He came out of race number 6, and I changed my picks in here because I was going to scratch into Corkman, who's the horse to beat, and he's dropping considerably. His 2 big figures are maiden races, and they're not figures that I would want to spend my life believing he's going to run in more competitive races. He's now going to be a heavy favorite in here. He can win. I didn't want to take him at a short price. I'm going to make it simple. I don't love straight skinny by any stretch of the imagination, but he's going to be a price. And one thing is the speed. He's going to be in front in here. And I liked Rocco Strong, who I thought could be forward. I believe this horse will be forward. I don't trust. By the way, do you know who air shows a have to?
Yes. Exultras.
I know. I meant to mention that. It is sort of funny that the brother and sister show is running today. You can't take air show. Tom Morley can't be happy they claimed this horse, whoever's decision it was.
Well, this goes back to the old be careful taking horses off our man Tom Amos. This horse is 3 races since Tom have been.
Also off the layoff,
Yeah.
and 2 bad races. Whatever, they claimed they were wrong. No, Tom's made a lot more good claims than bad claims. I'd like Tom's record.
You're not going to. Well. I'm certainly not going to take El Mayor off of that race from the Juan Vasquez show.
He's now with Horacio de Paz, by the way.
Cork, listen. You made a wonderful point about the 2 maiden races. This horse is 2 big figs coming maiden claiming races, bottom level maiden claiming races.
Judicial restraint. Didn't he come back 2 races later at like a huge favorite?
And I know he was. I know he ran against much, much, much better one last seen right before our break. But man, he's going to have to. There has to be a little bit of a turn. I went to the 2 inside horses in here.
I just can't take making New York anymore. Even David Aragona didn't pick him on top. He would have picked him in the Jerome if he could have. And he'd be forward by the Jerome. He'd be forward. David loves this
him and Beer roll over him in the maiden day, right?
Yeah, David. Well, he was right that day. And he didn't have a good trip that day, and he still won.
I went to
and
the 2.
David's given about 80% of the money back in subsequent starts.
I went to the 2 inside horses.
Why?
Well,
that's why I'm picking a horse like the 8.
At least Noble Journey's the race on the wet track was.
He got drowned by straight skinny. He got drowned by straight skinny.
on the wet track race.
Got drowned by straight skinny.
I got it. The wet track race in the next start, he galloped. He'll sit. I would imagine he's going to sit second to straight skinny.
He should.
And whatever happens from there happens. Making it in New York, I thought he had a little bit of trouble last time.
He didn't. You might want to watch that race again. He didn't.
He only got beat 5 lengths. He stretches back out to the mile.
Apart, Anthony. The race completely and totally incinerated in the late stages. He got there and got. No, I know, but his last race was awful.
This is a bad.
If he was coming into this race off of his race 2 back, I probably would have picked him.
Off those are those horses last time and Geo better than this field?
Forest Spirit? No, not really. Not really. They're not very good. Great workout? You're not exactly Great Workout's biggest fan, Anthony. And
no, I'm not.
To your credit, he's not that good.
No.
I didn't like his last race. That race fell apart, and he wasn't doing any running.
I probably should have picked Noble Journey, but who knows? I think Noble Journey had a big.
Straight skinny.
My namesake.
That would remind me to make a joke about that to you after we're off the air. Okay. Race number 7, the Bay Ridge, and you've got the Sharp Star Ice Princess matchup. They ran 1-2 in the Empire District Drift App. I switched it here. You did too. Why did you do it?
Well, how much of this performance here in the distaff was the wet track?
What's the wet track again?
I know. I kind of feel like this was just lightning in a bottle a little bit. She's really tailed off considerably since last year. I think she caught she caught a pretty wicked pace here. Was able to just pick some horses up. A couple of horses didn't show up. I mean, I know she beat Ice Princess and she beat her a good way, but at the very least, Ice Princess was a lot closer than her. I don't want to say she was doing any kind of real heavy lifting or anything, but at the very least, she was a lot closer. And this filly just kind of, I really feel like she just caught lightning in a bottle.
Okay, I'm going to say two things.
Now she's got to go 9.
One is, this might have actually been a reasonable time for you to make the usual Stabile comment. I think she's probably a more reliable horse going 2 turns than Sharp Star is. And
That's what I just said. Yeah, she's got to go to 9. I
think that's one of the reasons that David made her the slight favorite in here, because I'm not sure she will be. But I have to imagine that when David's thinking that she's shown to be proficient at 1 1/8 around 2 turns, which Sharp Star hasn't. I also think, and I don't mean this to be critical of Luis Saez, and I'm not sure. I mean, maybe after the race, Danny Gargan I think Danny, like me and anybody else, did better in the Hettinger, where she was about 75 lengths.
She should have been 3 in front that day.
Yeah, she was the speed, and she ended up last. I almost wonder if he said to Luis, like he did the time before, and correctly so, don't make the mistake that you made last time. Or and to be fair to Luis, she broke a little slow in the Hettinger, so she played a big role in her position. So I kind of wonder a little bit if Danny and Luis wanted to be closer, and in doing so, she was sort of being ridden along a little bit, but the pace was so much quicker that she would have been much better suited doing what Jose Ortiz did and doing what she normally does, which is sit back. So I'm not saying, and I don't disagree, I think the wet track and lightning ball, I think that's fair, but I also think that she was just kept a little too close to the pace, and so she didn't have her closing kick. And here, in a smaller field, you do want to keep her closer to the pace, because the 2 and 3, the horse she has to beat are both speeds, but I think she can find it more naturally because they're just not going to be moving as fast up front.
Right.
So I just prefer it. But it's close. I don't have a strong opinion.
I'm curious as to how aggressively Maiden Beauty is ridden. Is that the way to win this race if you have the connections of Maiden Beauty, to just try and get some separation?
No, take a look at her last race.
No, but what I mean is, I'm sorry?
I said, let's take a look at her last race.
Yeah, this was right. This was the break. She's going to run. She's going to run the last day, and she's going to run the first day back. She gets surrounded here. The filly along the inside looks like she's going to get her. And
well, it was a dead rail.
It was a dead rail.
I think that was Jose Lezcano's dopiest ride of the.
And now
nobody clued him in the fact the rail was dead that day.
Yeah. Now Speed had not won a race up until this point that day, and she was able to hang on here. And I'm really curious to see how aggressively she's handled. If I were her connections, I would just get separation and let Sharp Star, and let, more importantly, I think, and you agree, as we both picked on top, Ice Princess, let them make up the ground.
Well, the question is, if you're Jose Ortiz and Sharp Star, you're going to really just assume that Maiden Beauty is going to. I'm going to disagree with David's line. I don't see.
Because the other two fillies don't have any
see
speed.
Maiden Beauty as a similar price to these two.
I wonder if he made her that price. She is supposed to have a pace advantage in here.
Well, the 3 is as fast as she is if they want to be aggressive with her.
I think
she's not that fast, Anthony.
Listen, she's gotten faster since Rob Falcone has claimed her. She has gotten faster on her 2 wins. She has 3 dirt races for Rob. 4 dirt races for Rob. 4 races for Rob. You know, she got cooked up in that pace in the Empire Distaff. I'm curious to see how aggressively she's handled.
Well, she's going the front, but I don't think.
But how aggressively? You let the other 2 fillies in the race? Yeah. See me? I tell Kendrick, go and try and get some separation. And if Sharp Star, who is the more likely of the 2 fillies to be on the chase, if she chases you, she chases you.
I just don't think it matters. I don't think she's good enough, personally.
You know, I don't.
She's a nice horse, though. You know, I mean.
Sharp Star and Ice Princess, Rachel Alexandra and Zenyatta are exactly. Yeah, I don't disagree with you, but she's gotten better.
They're not Rachel Alexandra.
She's gotten better.
They're songbirds.
She has gotten better. Easy.
They're not.
She's gotten better since Rob claimed her.
Truly great horses.
She's gotten better since Rob claimed her. I do wonder if there's a chance she could bottom this bunch out.
We picked her 3rd, so you obviously not feel strongly she will.
Because I feel like Sharp Star almost has to put some pressure on her.
So race number 9, which is a 1.5 horse race, is this like
race number 8?
8, excuse me. Thank you. I'll never get past that, Anthony. you know, Carlos Martin some money or something, and you said, listen, I don't care how much.
What won't you get past it? There's only 8 races?
Yeah, the last race is the 9th race, Anthony. It could be 11, it could be 12. It's always
That
the
started
9th.
in California, right?
What?
8 races? That had to be California, right? I can't remember anywhere else. I mean, I was a degenerate when I was 9, so I don't remember. Like,
Anywhere?
Anywhere. I don't
Anywhere?
Remember. You remember it anywhere else?
I'm sure it was somewhere.
I think it's this is a California.
Saratoga used to run the jump races the last race of the day, didn't it? Way back.
I did not know that.
Yeah, way back.
Like before me or
Yeah,
like
before your time.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, 70s. In fact, I think before my time as well.
Okay.
So, did you lose a bet or something? And you said, okay.
No,
I'm
I
gonna
just
humiliate
wanted.
you?
I just wanted. I
horse
just
with no
wanted
chance?
somebody different than Total Effort.
So, how did you land on him?
The one dirt race stretch was
awful.
Was fair, stretching out to a mile. Brody's car's going to catch a wet track. That was it.
Anthony, it
one
wasn't
little shot
supposed
against.
to be wet today. So
Yeah, it was. I was.
It wasn't really that much rain. I think a lot of us are surprised it's as wet as it is.
I was surprised by the rain overnight.
I thought the only horse who could possibly beat the number 9 Total Effort is my boy Colton, who's the controlling speed in here and did run against a field that turned out in retrospect to be pretty strong in the dirt, though he didn't do a lot of running. I know Total Effort didn't do much running. I found an odd stat for Todd Pletcher. Maiden special weight to maiden claimers on the dirt in their second start. Wins at a high percentage with a low ROI. Food for thought for a horse, going to be a very short price. But he did run a race that was extremely strong. Horses have come out of it and run well. So I don't love the drop down for 20 so quickly on him. Does feel like they're dumping him, but I'm not going to try to beat him. 9s and 4s in the last for me. Don't use the raising sand. You know, Anthony will need him to get out for life. It's not going to happen. Bad news. We got to go. Johnny Ice.
Good.
Johnny Ice. Saw Johnny Ice. Stop by the office. Good to see Johnny as we close out the year. Head over to Naira Bets. Do this for yourself because it's the right thing to do. Become a member of Naira Bets. Use the promo code BONUS200 and we will match for $200 of your initial deposit. Pick 6.
There it is.
If it's not it today,
Well,
that could
there's a
happen.
mandatory tomorrow
If you're right
anyway.
in the last race, that could happen. There'll be a mandatory tomorrow. But today, we just have the carryover, $49,302, going into today's card.
I'm going to dabble today, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to dabble in it today.
Anthony will be dabbling. You enjoy your day. Johnny I up next. The reprise, the scratches and changes.